We start by heading west out of the parking lot along Iron Springs Road on the trail we're on now, and we take the first left, and that takes us on to West Side Story. The first part of this trail is downhill, and it's got some fun twists and curves to it. I've got a cold today, so I'm having trouble catching up to these guys. That's Randy in the yellow and Steve in the orange in front of him. There's some uphill also starting out. There's a nice rocky section that takes us uphill. It's a lot of fun, nothing really too difficult, but strenuous, I will say. Here's a particularly difficult section. It's uphill with a left-hand turn, and you can see we go over some large rocks here. And to make things a little more difficult, we've got some ice and snow up there that doesn't help, but it's not too bad. We're still on West Side Story here in a particularly rocky area that comes downhill. Once we get down the hill and we get off West Side Story, we hook up with a trail that we think is called Rusty Fender. These trails don't have numbers, they just have names. And some people have different names for different trails, so it's a little confusing. But we're pretty sure this is Rusty Fender. It takes us through some large boulders that you can see here. It's a really fun section. Once we get off Rusty Fender, we get back on to West Side Story, and we're going to take this back the opposite direction that we came. Here's a downhill left turn switchback. So of course, because this started out as a nice downhill, it now ends up as a uphill climb. It's pretty gradual. There's really no steep sections to it, but it is somewhat strenuous. Once we get to the top, we get back on the trail that we took out of the parking lot to the west, and we're heading back east now, back to the parking lot. It was a great ride. It was around 2 hours even, and I think we went about 8.6 miles.